In the previous lesson, we learned about objects and classes in Dart. Now in this lesson, we will be learning a little bit advanced concept, and that is inheritance of class. So we'll be understanding what inheritance means and how we can inherit a class so we can create our own custom classes. So before we dive into the inheritance, let's create a class first with the knowledge we already have. So void main is our entry point, right? And we'll be creating a class bike, and this bike will have two parameters, so string, color, and number cc, and this will have a constructor required this dot color and required this dot cc, right? And inside of it there will be a function write. This will print forward. Now we need to initialize the class, so var my bike equals to new bike class, and then inside of it color red, and then cc be 100, right? Now my bike dot ride. Now if I run this code, you can see that the bike is moving forward. Now as we know from previous lesson, we do not use this var very often. So instead of writing this var, what we can do is we can provide the data type of bike. Bike meaning that this is an instance of a class, and while initializing a new class, you can use the class name as a data type. So this is what we have learned till now. Now it's time that we learn about inheritance. So inheritance is our way of creating a new class by taking the existing properties and method of another class. So why is this important and why we need to learn this? Now let me give you an example. Say in physical world you want to customize a bike. So what would be your approach? Would your approach be to create an engine from scratch or the tires from scratch? So creating a bike on your own from the scratch is almost impossible, right? So what you can do and what should be your approach is to take an existing bike and customize it in your own way so that you do not have to create everything from the scratch. The properties and the riding functionality of the bike is still there. You only need to customize a few things to make your own custom bike, right? And this is true for Dart classes or objects as well. You can inherit a class with their properties and method intact, and then you can customize a few things or everything in them so you can make your own custom class. So how can you do that? So in my Dart code, if I want to create a custom bike object using this bike class, then what I can do is write class keyword, same as I would create a new class. So class, and the first letter will always be capital, so custom bike extends. Now extend is a keyword for inheritance, and the class it will extend is the bike class, so bike. Now when we extend a class, this custom bike already inherits all the properties and the method inside of this class. Now imagine you have thousands of properties and thousands of methods. If you want to create that from scratch, then it will take a lot of time. But if you extend this and inherit the class, then you can tap into all the methods and functionalities of another class. And here you can see that I am getting an error while trying to extend this custom bike from this bike class. And this is because this bike class already has two parameters that are required, right? So the thing to keep in mind is that if we are using constructor and some of the fields in constructor are of required in the parent class from where we are trying to inherit, then we also need a constructor in our custom class so that we can get all the required fields. So we can do that by using the constructor. So custom bike, the same name as the class name. This will be our constructor. And inside of this, we will be needing two fields. So required, and you can access this field of the parent by super, meaning the super class or the parent class dot color. We will be needing the color, and required super.cc. And by doing so, we have successfully created a new class that extends the previous class, so we can tap into all the methods and properties of the previous class. Now instead of using this new bike, we can write custom bike, and we do not need to define this string caller and this function over in our custom bike. This has already inherited from our bike class, so this mybike.ride will work fine from our custom bike as well, because we have inherited all the method and properties. Now by extending a class, you can not only tap into properties and method of another class, but you can also override the method. For instance, if you don't want this default method of the parent class in your custom class, then what you can do is you can simply write @override, meaning that I want to override some of the methods. And right below this you can write void ride, meaning that you are trying to override the ride method of the parent class. So instead of that, you write print this is over method. Now if you run this code, you can see that I have got a response of this is overridden method. We have successfully override the method of our parent class from our child class by using the override keyword. So this is how you inherit an existing class and create your own class or your own object, so that you do not have to write thousands of codes in your own class. And when we are developing our apps on Flutter, we will be using this many times. So I'll see you at the next lesson.